Hello, everybody. A very warm welcome on this lovely Monday, the 10th of August. And it is a Monday in the month of Shravan, which is always a special, extra special time to chant. And we chant the Om Namah Shivaya. So we're almost at 9 million, which is incredible. Welcome. I see people joining and saying hello. So very warm welcome to our lovely Usha Sangam, who joins us from the Bay Area in the United States to lead our chanting today. What a beautiful and smiling personality. And oh my goodness, she is such a powerhouse with all her background that I was reading earlier today. So let me take a minute to introduce her. But remember, all of you, that do not leave this session without logging your chants at the end. We have to get past 9 million, which is our duty as all of us to log our chants and invite more people and share all this peace and joy and healing we get from our chanting. So please don't forget. All right, let me tell you about Usha ji. Usha is an art of living teacher. She teaches actually the sky breath and the youth courses, and also focuses on children. I'll tell you the fact that shortly that she also leads the Care for Children program. But let me tell you that her focus has been on education. It looks like she's always been on education. She has been a volunteer for Care for Children, is currently a math teacher in a high school in the Bay Area. A long time meditator, but she also instructs parents and parenting classes and has an impressive technical background. She has a BTech in electronic engineering from the very reputed Indian Institute of Technology, which is called IIT Madras, and with a master's in computer science, and has over 18 years of experience in technical and management roles in the software industry. And parallelly, like I mentioned, all her different roles as a contributor in education. So she not only teaches the art of living techniques, but she also teaches instructor for parenting classes. She has she's a volunteer and manager for the Care for Children program, which she can tell us more about at the end of this, and has homeschooled her daughter, who is now doing a PhD in mathematics. So obviously a brilliant person in our midst, who also loves to sing and chant. We couldn't have asked for anybody better. A very warm welcome, Usha.
Thank you, Preeti. You're so glowing in your introduction of me. Thank you so much. It's just such an honor to be here. You know, chanting does so much for us as individuals. When we take care of ourselves, each of us individually, the whole world takes care of itself. And chanting, why do we chant? You know, Gurudev Sri Sri Ravi Shankar has said that our entire purpose in life is to find that silence and be in that space of silence. And journey is moving from sound to silence. That's how he describes it. Through chanting, through music, we move into silence. It's so much more beautiful than just noise to silence, right? A beautiful journey through chanting and through music. So I find that music connects me directly to the divine. And chanting does the same thing for me as well, because chanting is done with a musicality in my heart. That's how I feel. And all of us, when we chant, whether we think we're singers or not, we all have music in us. We all have the gift of the sound in us. So, you know, the other thing is that it creates all this positive vibration in us. How does it do that? I mean, at a physical level, there's been studies. There was a Japanese experimenter, a scientist whose name is Masaru Emoto. He's done experiments with the effects of chanting on water, and it actually changes the molecular structure of water, and that's what he's discovered. And so it's no surprise that when we chant, we feel all these effects inside us in our bodies. I'm sure all of you have had that experience when we chant. And there are people who are chanting in all sorts of parts of the world, including in England. Some of these schools in England start their day off with chanting. So why not? All of us, right? The whole world can get into this. And the other thing it does is it suddenly just quietens the mind and brings us into the present moment. So for me, chanting is really precious. Whenever I can get an opportunity to chant, just like it is today, Shravan, the month of Shravan on a Monday, which is the day of Lord Shiva, right? It's a beautiful time to chant. So without further ado, I'll just go ahead and get the chanting started. Om Namah Shivaya. 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 नमश्चण्डिकायै ॐ मार्कण्डेय उवाच यद्गुह्यं परमं लोके सर्वरक्षाकरं नृणाम् यन्न कस्यचिदाख्यातं तन्मे ब्रूहि पितामह ब्रह्मोवाच अस्ति गुह्यतमं विप्र सर्वभूतोपकारकम् देव्यास्तु कवचं पुण्यं तच्छृणुष्व महामुने प्रथमं शैलपुत्रीति द्वितीयं ब्रह्मचारिणी तृतीयं चन्द्रघण्टेति कूष्माण्डेति चतुर्थकम् पञ्चमं स्कन्दमातेति षष्ठं कात्यायनीति च सप्तमं कालरात्रिश्च महागौरीति चाष्टमम् नवमं सिद्धिदात्री च नवदुर्गा प्रकीर्तिताः उक्तान्येतानि नामानि ब्रह्मणैव महात्मना अग्निना दह्यमानस्तु शत्रुमध्ये कतोरणे विषमे दुर्गमे चैव भयार्ताः शरणं गता न तेषां जायते किञ्चित् अशुभं रणसङ्कटे नापदं तस्य पश्यामि शोकदुःखभयं नहि येस्तु भक्त्या स्मृता नूनं तेषां सिद्धिप्रजायते प्रेतसंस्थातु चामुण्डा वाराही महिषासना ऐन्द्रिगजसमारूढा वैष्णवी गरुडासना माहेश्वरी वृषारूढा कौमारी शिखिवाहना ब्राह्मी हंससमारूढा सर्वाभरणभूषिता नानाभरणशोभाढ्या नानारत्नोपशोभिताः दृश्यन्ते रथमारूढा देव्यः क्रोधसमाकुलाः शङ्खं चक्रं गदां शक्तिं
हलं च मुसलायुधम् खेटकं तोमरं चैव परशुं पाशमेव च कुन्तायुधं त्रिशूलं च शाङ्घमायुधमुत्तमम् दैत्यानां देहनाशाय भक्तानामभयाय च धारयन्त्यायुधानीत्थं देवानां च हिताय वै महाबले महोत्साहे महाभयविनाशिनी त्राहि मां देवि दुष्प्रेक्ष्ये शत्रूणां भयवर्धिनी प्राच्यां रक्षतु मामैन्द्री आग्नेयामग्निदेवता दक्षिणेवतु वाराही नैऋत्यां खड्गधारिणी प्रतीच्यां वारुणी रक्षेत् वायव्यां मृगवाहिनी उदीच्यां रक्षकौबेरी ईशान्यां शूलधारिणी ऊर्ध्वं ब्रह्माणि मे रक्षे अधस्तात् वैष्णवी तथा एवं दश दिशो रक्षे चामुण्डा शववाहना जया मे चाग्रतहस्तातु विजयास्तातु पृष्ठतः अजिता वामपार्श्वे तु दक्षिणे चापराजिता शिखां मे द्योतिनी रक्षेत् उमामूर्ध्नि व्यवस्थिता मालाधरी ललाटे च भ्रुवौ रक्षेद्यशस्विनी त्रिनेत्रा च भ्रुवोर्मध्ये यमघण्टा च नासिके शङ्किनी चक्षुषोर्मध्ये श्रोत्रयोर्द्वारवासिनी कपोलौ कालिका रक्षे कर्णमूले तु शाङ्करी नासिकायां सुगन्धा च उत्तरोष्टे च चर्चिका अधरे चामृतकला जिह्वायां च सरस्वती दन्तान् रक्षतु कौमारी कण्ठमध्ये तु चण्डिका घण्टिकां चित्रघण्टा च महामायां च तालुके कामाक्षी चिबुकं रक्षेत् वाचं मे सर्वमङ्गला ग्रीवायां भद्रकाली च पृष्ठवंशे धनुर्धरी नीलग्रीवा बहिः कण्ठे नलिकां नलकूबरी खड्गधारिण्युभौ स्कन्दौ बाहौ मे वज्रधारिणी हस्तयोर्दण्डिनी रक्षे अम्बिका चाङ्गुलीस्तथा नखाचूलेश्वरी रक्षेत् कुक्षौ रक्षेन्मलेश्वरी स्तनौ रक्षेन्महालक्ष्मी मनःशोकविनाशिनी हृदयं ललिता देवी उदरं शूलधारिणी नाभौ च कामिनी रक्षे गुह्यं गुह्येश्वरी तथा कट्यां भगवती रक्षे जानुनी विन्ध्यवासिनी भूतनाथा च मेढ्रं मे ऊरू महिषवाहिनी जङ्गे महाबला प्रोक्ता सर्वकामप्रदायिनी गुल्फयोर्नारसिंही च पादौ चामिततेजसी पादाङ्गुली श्रीमे रक्षेत् पादाधस्तलवासिनी नखान्दंष्ट्राकराली च केशांश्चैवोर्ध्वकेशिनी रोमकूपेषु कौबेरी त्वचं वागीश्वरी तथा रक्तमज्जावसामांसानि अस्ति मेदांसि पार्वती हन्त्राणि कालरात्रिश्च पित्तं च मुकुटेश्वरी पद्मावती पद्मकोशे कफे चूडामणिस्तथा ज्वालामुखी नखज्वाला अभेद्या सर्वसन्धिषु शुक्रं ब्रह्माणि मे रक्षे छायां चत्रेश्वरी तथा अहङ्कारं मनोबुद्धिं रक्ष मे धर्मचारिणी प्राणापानौ तथा व्यानं समानो दानमेव च यशः कीर्तिं च लक्ष्मीं च सदा रक्षतु वैष्णवी गोत्रमिन्द्राणि मे रक्षे पशून् मे रक्ष चण्डिके पुत्रान् रक्षेन्महालक्ष्मी भार्यां रक्षतु भैरवी मार्गं क्षेमकरी रक्षे विजया सर्वतः स्थिता रक्षाहीनं कुयत्स्थानं वर्जितं कवचेन तु तत्सर्वं रक्ष मे देवी जयन्ती पापनाशिनी पदमेकं न गच्छेत्तु यदिच्छेच्छुभमात्मनः कवचेनावृतो नित्यं यत्र यत्राधिगच्छति तत्र तत्रार्थलाभश्च विजयः सार्वकामिकः यं यं कामयते कामं तं तं प्राप्नोति निश्चितम् परमैश्वर्यमतुलं प्राप्स्यते भूतले पुमान् निर्भयो जायते मर्त्यः सङ्ग्रामेष्वपराजितः त्रैलोक्ये तु भवेत् पूज्यः कवचेनावृतः पुमान् इदं तु देव्याः कवचम् देवानामपि दुर्लभम् यः पठेत् प्रयतो नित्यं त्रिसन्ध्यं श्रद्धयान्वितः दैवी कला भवेत् तस्य त्रैलोक्येऽप्यपराजितः जीवेद्वर्षशतं साग्रमपमृत्युविवर्जितः नश्यन्ति व्याधयः सर्वे लूता विस्फोटकादयः स्थावरं जङ्गमं वापि कृत्रिमं चापि यद्विषम् आभिचाराणि सर्वाणि मन्त्रयन्त्राणि भूतले भूचराः खेचराश्चैव जलजाश्चोपदेशिकाः सहजाः कुलजामालाः शाकिनी डाकिनी तथा अन्तरिक्षचराघोरा डाकिन्यश्च महाबलाः ग्रहभूतपिशाचाश्च यक्षगन्धर्वराक्षसाः ब्रह्मराक्षसवेतालाः कूष्माण्डा भैरवादयः नश्यन्ति दर्शनात् तस्य कवचे हृदि संस्थिते मानो नतिर्भवेद्राग्नः तेजो वृद्धिकरं परम् यशसा वर्धते सोऽपि कीर्तिमण्डितभूतले जपेत् सप्तशतीं चण्डीं कृत्वा तु कवचं पुरा यावद्भूमण्डलं धत्ते सशैलवनकाननम् तावत् तिष्ठति मेदिन्या सन्ततिः पुत्रपौत्रिकी देहान्ते परमं स्थानं यत्सुरैरपि दुर्लभम् प्राप्नोति पुरुषो नित्यं महामाया प्रसादतः।
I'm going to now sing one of my favorite hymns on Lord Shiva. Nagendraharaya Trilochanaya Bhasmangaranaya Maheshwaraya Nityaya Shuddhaya Digambaraya Tasmai Nakaraya Namah Shivaya Mandakini Salila Chandana Chachitaya Nandishvara Pramatha Natha Maheshwaraya Mandara Pushpamahu Pushpasubhujitaya Tasmai Makaramahitaya Namah Shivaya Shivaya Gauri Vadana Javrinda Suryaya Gaunavankaya Srinilakantaya Rishadvadaya Tasmai Shikaraya Namah Shivaya Shivaya Gauri Vadana Javrinda Suryaya Daksha Varanashakaya Srinilakantaya Vrishadvajaya Tasmai Shikaraya Namah Shivaya Vasishta Kumbho Abhagautamārya Munindra Deva Chitashekharaya Chandrarka Vishma Narlochanaaya Tasmai Vakaraya Namah Shivaya Yagya Swarupaya Tadadharaya Vinakahastaya Sanatanaya Divyaya Devaya Digambaraya Tasmai Yakaraya Namah Shivaya Panchaksharamidam punyam Yapate Shiva Sannidhau Shivalokamaapnoti Shivena Sahamodati Om Namah Shivaya Om Namah Shivaya Om Namah Shivaya. Jai Gurudev.
Thank you so much, Mosha. That was so lovely. You know, after these sessions, I've said this before, I sometimes don't feel like talking. We are in such a lovely space of just that meditativeness and calm that you feel after that chanting. You sang so beautifully. You know, I almost want to say that you should have a little album of yourself, you know, singing such lovely singing that actually touches the heart, you know. So very, very soothing and very, very calming. Beautiful. Thank you so much for being with us today. Actually, before we let you go, can you tell us very quickly about Care for Children and what do you do?
Yeah. Care for Children is such a special project. It's the one project that's with the art of living. There are many other projects that have been started by Sri Ravi Shankar, that's part of IHV and OBBI and so on. The one project that's still with art of living is Care for Children. And it's one that's really close to my heart because, you know, if every child can grow up with the values, with the practices that help us absorb these values into our lives and live our life with wisdom, then the whole world will be transformed. And Care for Children, what it does is we raise funds in the US to help educate underprivileged children in India, in rural parts of India and tribal parts and in urban slum areas of India. And these children, I have actually visited some of these places to look at the joy on these children's faces, because they not only just get the regular CBSE education that children in India get or other standard education, they also get the holistic education that every one of us needs. We go through school learning how to read and how to write and how to do math, but who teaches us these values? Our parents do their best to teach us, but they themselves didn't have some of the practices that help absorb these values well, the meditation practices, the pranayama. And the secret is in the breath that Sri Ravi Shankar teaches us all about in the Sudarshan Kriya. These kids learn these practices from such a young age. And the joy in their face is, you can literally touch it. It's palpable. And so not only does it transform these individual children, but it transforms their entire communities. Because these children go back home and tell their parents, why are you fighting? And the parents look at them and say, wow, the children have so much wisdom that they've gained because of the practices, because of what they learn in these art of living free schools, right? The education is completely free. They get free lunch, they get free education, free uniforms and transportation. And they go back and change their families, their entire communities. And in conjunction with these schools, there are these yuvas, these what do you call them? Youth leaders in the societies, right? That Sri Ravi Shankar has trained and they go back into these societies and into these communities and teach the entire community practices that uplift the whole entire community. Along with these children, entire communities can get uplifted. I remember visiting two of these places. One was in Pune, not Pune, sorry, 5 hours away from Pune, in a very, very small village. And another place I visited was in Bangalore. And I remember speaking to one of these kids. Actually, I did several interviews, and I have really wonderful clips of them. Well, one of them stuck in my mind. She's from Meghalaya. And it's a place where there was a lot of Naxal activities, and the children weren't really getting educated very easily. So she left her family. She was one of 5 kids. She was spending her time at the ashram and getting transported to this particular place in Bangalore, this particular free school in Bangalore, near Udaipura. And she talked about how she was going to go back to her community. There was so much gratitude in her. She wanted to become a scientist. She wanted to do environmental engineering kind of work. She wanted to make sure that trees would get planted. And she talked all about soil erosion. There was so much knowledge and so much devotion to her land, to her people. I was just super impressed and really touched deeply. The kids whose lives are being transformed are so precious, every single one of them. And if we, as people who have so much abundance, actually abundance is in the heart. No matter whether you think you have $10 or you have $1 billion, it's in the heart. No matter what you have, if you can take a little portion of it and share it and donate it to care for children, 96% of that money goes towards the education of these children. Just a little bit more than 96%. It's one of the very few service projects in the world that has such a big percentage of its money going towards the education, or going completely towards charity, because the rest of it is in expenses that we have to incur. But 96% is a huge amount. So anything you can do to support these children would be absolutely welcome, and we would be super grateful for it.
So wonderful to know. So is there anywhere that people on this platform who are watching can get more information on Care for Children or be involved in any way? Is there a site or a link that you would like to share?
Yeah. So the website is www.careforchildren.org. CareForChildren.org. Right. So go there. There's a donate button. You can donate, and there's a way you can actually ask a question or send a comment. And if you're interested in volunteering, you can certainly communicate to us through that website. Or you can send me email at usha.sangam@gmail.com. That will be just as quick.
Oh, so wonderful. See, I mean, there's just so many opportunities that people who come on this platform get to learn about different service projects. And like you said so rightly, the generosity is in our heart. If we decide that we have that wish to give and help, it all happens magically. And everything will get lined up. And somehow the universe finds a way to give that money back to you as well. So it's so wonderful. Please do go to careforchildren.org. Also, that OVBI is doing so much amazing work. So when you log your chants at Billionchants.org, remember that there is a donate button there to help with the variety of causes that OVBI volunteers are working on. As you know, we work on the plasma project to help people who are suffering from COVID match with those who have recovered. In India as well, there are people who have sent heartfelt testimonies and in the US of their recovery because of a match, because of a OVBI volunteers' efforts. It is truly incredible. So whatever you can do for that project, if you're listening from India, please join us in helping us connect donors and those who might need these services. If you are in the United States, consider contributing $25 to help students who are stranded because of these current times and don't have the right jobs or the means to even get basic necessities. If you're in Canada, please consider supporting our freezer project for a food bank, as the need for food has gone up exponentially, and we have to keep food safe before we actually are able to distribute it. There is just so much need at so many different levels: frontline workers, food banks, seniors and senior care, as children, as you just heard from Usha ji, students who are in need, who are stranded, anything you can do, the money and the energy and the good, the blessings do come back. And remember, follow us on social media, whatever your choice is. Spread the word. We must grow. We must spread all this love and chanting and peace that we are getting from different people who come to lead. So don't forget, invite more people, subscribe to our Billionchants as well as our Facebook live feeds, and you will never miss it. So thank you very much, a very heartfelt thank you to Usha ji for joining us today and giving us this lovely chanting, singing, as well, and knowledge as well as information on care for children.